Hello, welcome to my new video. People who have seen previous videos of mine already know this, of course. Yes, I'm a big Atari fan. But I'm also interested in other gaming and computer systems. My son is more a Nintendo person, so we have quite a few of these Nintendo systems around the house. This made me also interested in Nintendo. And a while ago, a friend messaged me that she had a Nintendo 8-bit system for sale and asked if I was interested. I assumed she meant the Nintendo NES, and I thought it would be nice to add it to the collection. I was able to buy it for a nice price, so that we can take a closer look at this Nintendo Entertainment System in this video. We also take a look at the history of the NES, because it was almost the case that this system had been known to us as the Atari Entertainment System. Welcome back, and this is the NES in a beautiful Nintendo branded case. Let's see what's inside. Let's open it. Hey, complete with documentation, that's nice. And here the console. What a colossus. But it looks good. And what do we have here? Oh yes, the light gun. Too bad we can't use it with an LCD screen. And the controller. Ah, too bad it's a third-party controller. Here the power adapter and the connection cables. This looks like a manual of one of the games. Hey, what's that? I never seen this before. I have to Google what this is. Oh, this manual is about this thing. Well, we'll look at this later in the video. And these are the games that are included. Let's walk through them. Super Mario Bros. 3. Nice gold colored cartridge. Yeah, that's Zelda too. Red of the Black Mantra. Addams Family. Mario Bros. And Duck Hunt. That must have been a packing game. The Battle of Olympus. Tetris, a classic. Super Mario Bros. 2. And finally, Track and Field 2. Well, I don't know all the games, but most of them are well-known titles. Then of course we also need to test it, to see if it works. I'm going to try it out with Super Mario Bros. 3. Let's see how the cartridge goes in. Oh, that went pretty smooth. And turn it on and we have a picture. That looks nice for an RF connection. Let's see how we start that game. Oh, it started. And now what? Okay, I have to go there. I have played this game in an emulator before, but not enough to become familiar with it. Well, in any case, the NES works. I actually didn't expect anything different. I don't know exactly what to do. This could certainly be done better. Oh, how do I get over this? Well, not like that. But at least I know that everything works. Now that we have looked at the NES, I want to go over the history of the Nintendo Entertainment System, because it turns out that Atari had a very important role in that. The NES was first released in Japan under the name Famicom. From the beginning there were plans to release the system worldwide, only Nintendo didn't have very good experience with that because of their arcade systems. So they looked for an established player in the gaming industry and ended up at Atari. Atari was having a hard time at that time. It was the early stages of the US video game crash. But Nintendo had faith and contacted Ray Kassar, the president of Atari. Nintendo offered to allow Atari to release the Famicom worldwide, outside of Japan, under the Atari brand. Atari liked that, because they were having a hard time with their own consoles at that time. The 2600 became too old and the 5200 had failed. They had already asked General Computer Corporation to develop the 8700, but they can always use that as a plan B. So the negotiations were started. Nintendo offered that they would manufacture the interior and Atari could build the case around it themselves. After a number of meetups, the deal was reached. The contract was drawn up and it was agreed that they would sign it at the 1983 CES. But when everyone was at the CES, Atari found out that ColecoVision was showing Donkey Kong on their new Atom computer. Atari had the rights to Donkey Kong for computers and ColecoVision only for game consoles. Atari thought that Nintendo has made a deal with ColecoVision behind Atari's back. Atari was not amused and Nintendo had to solve this first. When Nintendo later corrected this, Ray Kassar was by then fired from Atari, because things were getting much worse at Atari. The video game crash had hit hard. The deal with Atari had to be cancelled. Nintendo had to release the Famicom in the US by themselves. They did this by marketing the NES as a toy, by including a toy robot and a light gun. This gave them a place in the toy departments of the stores, because due to the crash, the video game departments were closed one by the department stores. The NES became a big worldwide success for Nintendo. It caused a revival of the video game market. In the meantime, things had gone so badly with Atari that Warner had sold the company to Jack Tramiel. The new Atari focused more on computers, but when they saw Nintendo's success, they also want to benefit from it. General Computer Corporation had already developed the 7800, only they still had to be paid for it. Jack Tramiel believed that Warner should do that. That was part of the deal of the acquisition, but Warner believed that Atari should pay for that. It took more than a year before an agreement was reached. Atari then released the 7800, 2 years after it was ready. In the meantime, the machine was already outdated and could not compete with the Nintendo NES. So, Atari had lost the battle with Nintendo, but not yet the war. Atari made one more attempt to get market share from Nintendo. They did that with this machine, the Atari XE game system. They took the old Atari 8-bit home computer and built it into a game console case. To compete with Nintendo, they even sold it with a light gun. It's clear from this commercial that they were really aiming at Nintendo.
This is the Nintendo video game system. It plays only cartridge games. This is the new Atari XE system. It plays cartridge and disc-based games. Disc drive sold separately, and only Atari comes with a real joystick. Both have guns, but only Atari comes with the target game Bug Hunt. Nintendo has a toy robot, but only Atari gives you a keyboard for playing advanced computer games. It even comes with the amazing Flight Simulator 2 cartridge. The new Atari XE video game system. Unbeatable.
But they couldn't compete with Nintendo with the XE game system either. The hardware was essentially already 5 years old, and Nintendo games were simply better. But thanks to the XE game system, they managed to get rid of stock of their game cartridges and computer parts. So this was the history of the Nintendo Entertainment System, which, thanks to ColecoVision, was given that name and not the Atari Entertainment System. But what's left now is this thing that came with my NES. What is this exactly? Let's find out. This turns out to be a gamegenie video game enhancer. With this device you can make small changes to a game. For example, you can ensure that you have infinite lives, or that you skip a number of levels. This is possible by placing the gamegenie between the game and the NES. Place the game cartridge on this side and insert the other side into the NES. You make the change by entering a code. gamegenie comes with a code book, which contains a number of codes of different games. This code contains the memory address to be changed and its new value. I also see that the former owner wrote down additional codes in the back of the book. Let's go try it. For this I use Super Mario Bros. 3 again. I entered the code for infinite lives. And now I can play as long as I want. Let me try this one, Skywalker. Now gravity no longer has any influence. Funny that game enhancer, but I prefer to play the original. So that brings us to the end of this video. What do I think of the NES? Clearly next gen compared to the Atari 2600. But with Atari games I have more nostalgic feelings. I completely skipped the NES period, so I have no memory of those games. That leaves only the games themselves, and then I prefer to play on a modern console such as the Atari VCS. But it's still nice to have an original NES in the collection. So it's going to be stored with the other stuff. And maybe there will also be a Super NES in the future. Okay, we're gonna close now. So please click on the like button to support this channel and click on subscribe to get my new videos in your feed. Until the next video, bye!